tax is a very important aspect for administrations. There is no representations without taxations. How these taxes need to be collected? Our Indian wisdom, particularly Kautilya, or some people call it Chanakya, he says very clearly, the government should collect the tax the way honeybee collects its nectar from the flower without actually harming them. So, the tax policy need to be like that. But over a period of time, that was there in the early 60s or till about late 80s, the tax administration becomes so archaic, so difficult for the economy to function. What could be the tax rates? These are very difficult questions. You can take or think about it that there in Nordic countries, the tax rates are very high, but even then people are paying those taxes because they respect their government, they do have trust on them. Whereas in this part of the world, particularly in South Asia, most taxpayer feels that the government is eating up my money, so why should I pay taxes? Then what should be the tax rate, or what kind of tax be there that does not really affect the economies? So this particular question was particularly raised during the early 90s when the government went for a structural adjustment program, and there were a number of components of the structural adjustment program: banking sector reform, labor reform, couple of them. Tax reform was a very important component of that. So the government of India constituted a committee headed by Raja Chelliah, and they submitted his report. Thereafter, a number of reforms took place. There was number of other committees, including the Kelkar committee, the committee headed by Amresh Bagchi, and couple of others. The most important aspects of this tax, of this reform, was the reform of the domestic trade taxes and the reform of the commodity taxes. We have been collecting taxes through two ways. One was the direct taxes, some people call it income taxes, and others is the indirect taxes, some people call it commodity taxes. The difference between the direct and indirect taxes is that the direct taxes, the incidence cannot be passed on to others, whereas in the indirect taxes, the incidence can easily be passed on to others. So for indirect taxes, let's talk about indirect taxes for the moment. It had lots of problems. There was archaic administrations, there was a narrow base, and it affects the competition policies of the government. It was also creating problem for exports because what amount of taxes that has gone into a product was not known. So the tax reform committee, they made some recommendations and made a pointed attention to the government that this needs urgent reform. Thereafter, the government thought that why can't the taxes, the commodity taxes levied by the union government and the state government be subsumed and one comprehensive taxes on commodities be levied. So they requested the National Institute of Public Finance and Policy to prepare a roadmap for a comprehensive value-added tax. That committee recommended there should be central value-added tax and the state value-added tax. So they recommended a dual VAT. Initially, the tax on production, that's central excise, was levied by the union government, and the state government was levying the sales taxes. Now, if you want to introduce a value-added tax principles on the commodity taxes, you need to have a consensus of all the states, and each state has its own problems. At that point of time, in many states, and if you take the example of West Bengal, they had as many as 50 rate structure. the difference between the two adjacent rates was as little as 0.5%. No social and economic objectives can be so minute that offers that degree of rate differentiations. So, in that committee or in that study group, they first compress all these rates of various commodities and recommended there should be a 4-rate structure. So, that was a kind of a basic work to introduce the value added tax. You first compress the rates and there should be harmonization across states. Once you achieve the harmonizations, then only you can move towards further reforms. So, they recommended 4 rates, and at that time there was some additional sales tax and the turnover tax. The difference between the nominal rates and the effective rates was very, very high, very, very different. Even the sales tax commissioner himself was unable to know what kind of tax system they have. Each tax forms was very, very big in about 8 folds, and there were lots of forms there. So, you were going for that kind of reforms, and this particular value added tax, it was introduced in 2005, but this value added tax, it has an issue that it was not one integrated VAT, and there was a cascading in between. So, the government of India and all state government, they thought there should be a comprehensive goods and services tax. What could be the goods and services tax? That was the questions. There could be the central goods and services tax, there could be the concurrent goods and services tax, and there could also be the states goods and services tax. In case of a central GST, the problem was that the rich states will be affected, because if it is a central GST, the state government will be vacating all kinds of tax fields, and the central would be collecting the taxes, and thereafter they will be distributing this tax through the mechanisms of finance commissions. The polar opposite of that is the state GST. If the states collect the tax and the central government vacate its tax field, then the problem was the rich states would be richer and the poor states would be poorer. So, that was another extreme. There could be the third, which is in between, that is the dual GST. The dual GST means that both the union and the state government, they will be sharing the same tax base, and concurrently they will be levying that kind of taxes on the same base. But why GST so important? Because in between there was a tax on services through the constitutional amendment 88, and that was introduced. Now, the issue was, if you buy a goods, you pay taxes, but if you hire services, you are not paying taxes. Or you hire a car, is the same thing. If you buy a car, it's again the same thing. As per the definition of a value added tax, so the sales tax is a multi-point sales tax with a set off given to each stage of its transactions. So, both government of India and the state government, through various mechanisms, they try and introduce the GST, and they succeeded only in 2017, by which they were able to achieve a concurrent GST, which means on a certain base the union government will be levying the taxes, on a certain other base the state government will be levying the taxes, and the interstate tax mechanisms can be resolved through the IGST.